James Caan is one of the UK's most successful and dynamic entrepreneurs. He's amassed an £85 million fortune through creating global recruitment businesses and from his private equity empire in London's Mayfair. With an impeccable track record of creating and managing companies, he's now taking this first-hand knowledge on the road to mentor 6 of the UK's most vibrant small and medium-sized enterprises. He's on a mission to navigate the entrepreneurs through the challenges they face, to seize market opportunities, and to boost their bottom line. With James's nearly 30 years of business expertise, will the young companies make the change or stick to their ways? The Business Class begins here.
We've got a great episode lined up today. 2 entrepreneurs who show innovation at its best. The retail sector in this country has nearly 1 in 9 people of our workforce employed in this space, with over 300,000 businesses in the consumer market. What is really interesting is how consumer sentiment plays such an important part in the retail sector. Joining me now is international brand expert Rita Clifton and CEO of UK Fashion and Textile Association, John Mill.
Okay, James, let's take a look at the 4th company in our series, a company with a niche product and a cult following, Morphsuits.
Hi, I'm Gregor. We founded Morphsuits in 2009. We started out in a small flat in London, and now we have offices in Edinburgh, London, America and Spain.
I'm Ali, I run the operations for Morphsuits. We have 26 employees around the world and our projected turnover this year is 11.4 million.
So James, you've seen the company profile. We've got 2 of the founders here, but before we bring them in, what's your first impression?
What an amazing business. My God, I love these founders. They look like they're having so much fun. What really came across to me was they'd put together an amazing team of real creativity. They've got all their functions in the right place, their marketing, their finance, their logistics. What is really impressive here is our 3 founders have collectively put £9,000 to start their business. And what's incredible is already have got a market valuation in excess of £30 million.
When I look at the businesses that they've got exponential sales growth, I'm wondering as a business person what pillars they're going to put in that won't stop the business growing and not keep their attention focused on the front end, but provide the pillars to support that growth and turnover.
I think a couple of challenges, though, do occur to me. First and foremost is this a fad? I mean, Morphsuits are fantastically popular, they're having fun with them, they're bringing in new characters and new ideas and everything else, but just being careful about not just being a one-trick pony. I think that they also need just maybe to sort out, they've got a bit of sub-branditis going on here. You know, they've got the Morphsuits, they've got the costume, they've got the digital duds. Maybe just to organise that a bit more so they're a bit clear about what is the main brand, what are the products, and how they're going to keep on innovating around those products.
Very good. Excellent points. Carolyn.
Now, in each episode, we look at the 2 biggest challenges the entrepreneurs have flagged up to us. Here's Morphsuits' first one.
Our first challenge is to build distribution, particularly in the EU. We have several brands that consumers absolutely love, and we've had great success in the UK and the US. But we'd like the panel's help in building distribution in Europe.
Distribution in Europe, a very good question. I think this could be done in a couple of different ways. I think my strong advice would be to go for one single hub, and that could be somewhere like Dubai, and then use the whole concept of distribution with a partnership with somebody like UPS, because the whole idea of online is to make sure that you get your product to the consumer very quickly.
If I were the company, I'd be looking to see how I could segment Europe. What are the big markets, what are the small markets, how can I tackle those? I'd certainly, if I was led by social media and e-commerce, I certainly would want a very significant number of my websites in local languages.
Do you believe if the concept of penetrating Europe is the key driver, should that be done through having independent distribution in each country, or do you think it could be more efficient to do that through a central hub?
Provided we don't consider that they're not one-dimensional, then there's absolutely no way you do anything other than work out of a single hub.
Tell me, Rita, what is your recommendations?
Definitely the single hub. I think we're all loudly agreeing on this one. And it has some very distinct brand advantages as well, which is that you can keep control of the process.
In a minute, I'm going to grab two of the founders, but first, James, let's take a look at their second challenge.
As we grow, we are getting the chance to supply more major retailers with more costumes. We would like the panel's help to work out the best way to scale our infrastructure and processes to take advantage of these opportunities.
James, the guys want help with scaling up their technical operations. How can they best do that?
I think the key issue here is going to be technology. I think the area that technology needs to make a difference is the three fundamental components of the business: the customer, the retailer and the supplier. Now, most businesses, when they're using technology, I think really needs to have that kind of CRM system, a customer management system that enables them to track each of their transactions all over the world, and also to do it in real time.
James, given that this is an events-based business though, which a lot of focus on holidays like Halloween, how can this company better manage its cash flow?
It's a great question. I mean, I think when we're talking about technology, which is really the kind of key points we were making, I think any CRM system, as you said earlier, John, it's not just the front end, but it's the back end too. And I think if you're tracking your customers, you're tracking your activity, cash flow is really going to fall out the back end of that system. Would you agree with that, John?
Yes, I would. If you are able to plan an annual calendar or a matrix of what's actually physically happening, you can see, I mean, any forecast is not absolutely accurate, but what you will drop out will be the cash flow requirement required to do that.
Okay, we've got the founders waiting in the wings. Before we bring them in though, let me give you a quick recap. We now understand more about international retail expansion. We've looked at one of the entrants into that market. Our mentors have weighed in on their biggest challenges. It is time for our experts to meet Fraser Smeaton and Gregor Lawson.
Nice to meet you. I'm Fraser.
Fraser, nice to see you. Welcome to the business.
Hi, Rita. Nice to meet you. I'm Fraser.
Hi, Gregor.
Hi, John. How are you doing? Nice to meet you.
Gentlemen, welcome to the business class. Based on some of the advice that we really came up with and put together, is that something that you're able to implement in your business?
I think so. There were 2 points that particularly resonated with me. The first one's around the sustainability of our brand. Now, we are moving into non-spandex costumes, but I've got some further questions on how best to stretch a brand. And the second one was around the use of technology in the cloud computing. Again, it makes perfect sense, but some more direction on exactly what we should look for in the software package and what are the key points would be really helpful.
I think in terms of technology, and it's the key thing that I talked about, you know, it's your suppliers, it's your retailers, it's your customers. And really it's having a system that enables you to manage that globally from an online platform. I would definitely go for a sort of a license monthly subscription. So there's no upfront cost, there's no major commitment, but also the beauty is, for whatever reason, if it doesn't work, you haven't bet the farm on it.
We've almost come to the end of the show, but as promised, here's the Twitter question for you, James. Hamad Khan asks, shouldn't the clients be fair to suppliers and vendors as well, such as not pushing for net 90 or 180-day payments? James, what do you think?
Well, you know what, Carolyn, I don't think it's the client issue here. I think this is about the entrepreneurs, because one of the biggest lessons I learned when you're running a business, the most important thing is to be able to remember to ask the client before you take the order, what are the payment terms? So to debate it after the event isn't how you deal with it. So my key advice would be, before you accept the order, you know, Mr. Client, are you paying us in 30, 60 or 90 days? If the client's offering you 90 days and it doesn't work because you can't pay your overheads or you can't meet your own payments, you're better off giving the client a discount for early payment.
So what should entrepreneurs be doing if they can't get better terms? Should they simply walk away?
Well, certainly, I'll tell you what I did, Carolyn. I was going to walk away because I'm not a bank. I can't fund my clients. They need to go to a bank for that. So unless I can get the payment terms up front, the key advice for me here is to make sure that you ask that question when you receive the order.
Okay, thanks, James. Great advice as always. And if you want to ask James a question, tweet us using hashtag CNBC BizClass.